or you have zoomed in with your smartphone camera to try and get a better shot every now and then, but you probably ended up with a mediocre, poor quality shot. That's because you are not really zooming, your smartphone is zooming in on what's already in the frame. Digital zoom is rarely a good idea, and it's completely different from the zoom you would see on a DSLR camera. Asus tried to tackle the problem with the Zenfone zoom, which features 3 times optical zoom and optical image stabilization, but sadly, the Taiwanese company completely missed the mark. Although optical zoom is rare on smartphones, it was the main attraction on Nokia's Lumia 1020. Even though the Lumia and its Zeiss optics are several years old now, the Zenfone zoom doesn't improve much upon Nokia's aging Lumia 1020. The Zenfone zoom isn't a bad phone, it's decent, but it's also far from being worth $400, and it doesn't deliver on its promise of taking better photos than your average flagship smartphone from Samsung, LG, or Apple. Let's dive into the finer details. A slippery start. The Asus Zenfone zoom is quite the brick. At 5.5 inches, it's also burdened with sizable bezels that do nothing but make the device look less appealing. You're sure to feel the zoom in your pocket, as it's 11.95mm thick. When you compare that with the iPhone 6s Plus, which rises up to 7.3mm, the zoom looks pretty beefy. Yet despite its thickness, the front and sides of the phone feel relatively high-end, especially with the metal frame and rounded corners. Unfortunately, it loses all feeling of quality when you touch the faux leather back. The material on the back is also extra slippery, and perhaps that's why Asus includes a wrist strap on the bottom of the phone. The buttons on the side of the phone offer good feedback and aren't hard to press, and the zoom's dedicated video record and camera shutter button is quite possibly the best function of the smartphone. The buttons don't protrude out much, preventing unnecessary clicks. However, that's nothing new, either. Sony and a few other manufacturers offer a dedicated camera button as well, and many phones offer the ability to use the volume keys to take photos quickly. The capacitive buttons are fine too, though they look dated. The design for the home, back, and recent app buttons look like the ones you would find on phones from Android's early days. In another old-fashioned move, the headphone jack is located at the top of the phone. However, the back cover is easy to remove, so you can throw in your SIM or a micro SD card. Sadly, the battery is not removable or replaceable. Bloat everywhere. As with most of Asus phones, you'll find yourself booting up a device that has dozens of third-party apps that offer little to no value to you. There are duplicate apps of almost everything from the gallery and mail, to the calendar and music apps. The number of pre-installed apps on the Zoom is a little crazy, and it's likely to drive Android purists